All right, y'all. Hey, what's up, good people? I'm QC. Welcome to another Talking and Grubbing live stream. Hope everybody's doing well this evening. I hope you and your families are doing well also through this quarantine process. And also, I definitely hope that y'all are taking the proper precautions, to limit COVID-19, washing your hands, also using hand sanitizer and practicing social distancing. Tonight, here back again with another NBA playoff flashback of the 2016 NBA Finals between the Cleveland Cavaliers, Golden State Warriors. This is Game 5, up 3-1 after winning in Cleveland in Game 4 as Steph and Clay finally broke out of their slump and had big games. But heading into Game 5, there was a lot of off the court drama as the game ended. Draymond Green, was upgraded to a flagrant foul, and Draymond Green received the seventh technical foul of the playoffs that year, ended up being suspended. And there was a lot of controversy behind, that call, behind that decision. A lot of people felt that Draymond shouldn't have been suspended, and a lot of people thought LeBron played not just LeBron, but Brian Windhorst, who has been covering LeBron ever since he was in high school, who currently works for ESPN and was also the Cavs beat reporter for the Cleveland Plain Dealer and the Akron Beacon Journal for over a decade, excuse me. Well, no, almost a decade, my mistake. Felt that they influenced the NBA to suspend Draymond. But nevertheless, the Warriors were without Draymond in this Game 5. Now, in my humble opinion, Draymond y'all gotta excuse me, Draymond got suspended because of his own karma. He should have gotten suspended. He did to Steve Adams in the Western Conference Finals against OKC when he kicked the man in his man region, and it was clear as day. Draymond blatantly kicked him. Now, it would have been one thing, maybe they slip and fall and his foot ends up, crossing his groin area and he kicks him. But he deliberately kicked him like he was kicking for the freaking Oakland Raiders. So yeah, he should have definitely been suspended for that because that was blatant. And I sometimes I'm still that Draymond was not suspended, for that next game. So y'all come on in here to the chat. I want to read your thoughts on that game. And sorry about the late start, y'all. To wrap up some last minute things. I had to change. I had to change the background because the scene shifted to Oracle and Oakland, so I had to change the background. So myself, I'm doing good. My family's doing good. Trying to figure out how when everything's gonna go back to normal. And got some dinner here tonight. Got some green beans, some Western style ribs, and some cornbread. Here y'all go. Hope y'all can see that. I'm hungry. I'm about to grub on this a little bit here, starting with these green beans. Now, of course, a lot of Warrior fans were very upset that Draymond got suspended for that game. And LeBron was public enemy number one throughout the Bay Area. Matter of fact, even when LeBron was practicing, getting his little workout, workout in before the game, man, Warriors fans booed him relentlessly. And I've never seen that. And I've never seen a player get booed while they're practicing. Plus, the Warriors players were PO'd by Draymond being suspended, and they were trying to clinch the title without him. As Draymond and Warriors GM Bob Myers were across the street at the Oakland Coliseum at the Oakland A's game, hoping that they would be going back to Oracle for a celebration and a trophy presentation. Bob Myers, wanted to show that he was against the NBA's decision by supporting Draymond Green, so he sat with them at the A's game. So this was definitely this game definitely had a storyline. Well, storylines, excuse me. Will the Warriors cap off? Were the Warriors going to cap off the greatest season ever, or will the Cavs find a way to win on the road to play another day? And start the comeback trail start the historic comeback trail of rallying from a 3-1 deficit to win the NBA Finals, which no team had ever done. Not even some of the greats didn't, pull off the. And also, I will be. Green beef off the plate. Also, I will be back tomorrow live streaming during the playback of Game 6 and Saturday night of Game 7. Now the Cavs, their mindset was, especially with LeBron, and he said this after Game 4. He did a group text with everyone on the team, basically saying, forget about the odds, let's make history. And he also said, after Game 5, we got to fly back home anyway, so we might as well fly back for another game. And he said he knew what what the Cavs fans would do, at home in a Game 6, and then get to a Game 7. Anything can happen. And also, the head coach at the time, Tyronn Lue, said in the press conference after they lost Game 4, if you don't believe we can win, don't get on the plane. Then he also gave his team a pep talk, before Game 5, giving a quote that he had seen on a documentary on the History Channel while he was in the hotel. And, it was a Mark Twain quote saying, there's 2 important days in your life. Well, dates in your life. When you were born and discovering the reason why you were born. And he said, I think we were born to be champions, but it's a tough road, but we can do it. So despite the fact you know, the odds were against the Cavs, they still believed in themselves. You know, like 50 Cent said on Big Rich Town, which was the theme song for Power. In that second verse, he says, I'm supposed to lose, watch me win against the odds. Well, that was the Cavs. You know, everybody was basically expecting them to lose, even though Draymond Green was not playing. You know, a lot of people thought, you know, it was over. They were, you know, done. They were down and out, but they found a way to win against the odds. Excuse me. And also, David Griffin sent a group email to players and all staff about, you know, making history. So heading into this game 5, despite the fact being down 3-1, the Cavs were loose and you know, pretty confident. And a lot of teams, you know, have, you know, being down 3-1, especially after letting a game like game 4 go the way the Cavs did, a lot of teams wouldn't be confident about winning that next game. You know, they would definitely be down on themselves, you know, losing that game. And a lot, you know, myself and a lot of Cleveland sports fans were definitely down the dumps after that game 4 loss, because that was a game the Cavs let get away. They let that game get away. Okay, I'm about to get some of these Western style ribs. And they definitely shouldn't have let that game get away. Definitely shouldn't have let that game get away. It's one thing to get blown out. You know, if you get blown out, then you just don't have it that day. But to lose in that fashion, there's no excuse. Definitely can't lose like that, especially at home. So, you know, the Cavs basically had their backs against the wall on the road in a very hostile environment. Because, I mean, Oracle Arena, man, that place is brutal for just about any team to play. Excuse me for a second. Excuse me. I had some little barbecue sauce on my face. So even though a lot of people, you know, inside and outside of Cleveland thought they were crazy, they believed they could definitely pull it off. King AB, what's up, man? How you doing? And also, you know, I still joke about this now. I said Warriors fans had their free Draymond signs at the game. They should have been having signs that said stop LeBron and Kyrie, because those two, man, they were men amongst boys in game 5. They balled out as both of them scored 41 points in game 5. You know, that was the first time a pair of teammates scored 40 points per game in an NBA Finals game. And also, you know, like they say, when it rains, it pours. Not only they were without Draymond, but they ended up losing their center, Andrew Bogut, in the second half, as he and J.R. Smith had a collision. Now, a lot of Warrior fans I've gone back and forth with on social media, they keep on saying that J.R. Smith deliberately injured Bogut on purpose. That's not true. That is not true at all. They just had a collision under the basket, and Bogut's knee just ended up accidentally connected with JR's shoulder. They were both trying to go for the ball and make a play. But that definitely took away a strength that the Warriors had in the first 3 games, was the rim protection of Bogut. Because he was definitely a big key of them getting that 3-1 lead. Before he was hurt, he was averaging 10 blocks per game in the series. So he was definitely a big key of keeping LeBron and Kyrie out of the paint. And Golden State didn't have any quality big men that could back up Bogut. So they had to turn to Festus Ezeli for the second half of game 5 and the rest of the series. But he was too slow to keep up with LeBron or Kyrie. Especially in ISO. Every time, you know, Kyrie would have an ISO play ran for him, man, he would just take Ezeli to the hole almost every time. Now the first half, man, the Warriors came out like gangbusters. They wanted to get their crowd into it early. You know, they wanted to get themselves pumped. You know, they really was trying to motivate themselves to win it for Draymond, you know, clinch it without him. But despite the Warriors going off, especially Klay Thompson, he had, 25 in the first half? The Cavs were still in it. You know, LeBron, his jump shot started to fall, started to look a little bit smoother, look a little bit better. You know, from the get-go, he definitely was not, you know, just about, you can tell right away he had reworked his mechanics and got a better release on his jumper. Then, second half, Kyrie started to take over. No matter who the Warriors put on Kyrie, Kyrie was, man, he was going to the hole on even on Klay. And Klay's one of the best defenders in the league. And he was doing that, and he was killing Klay sometimes when Klay was on him. There was nothing you could do to stop Kyrie. Kyrie was just in such a damn zone. It didn't make no sense that night. Not at all. Now, going into this game, I was nervous because I thought at full strength we could beat the Warriors. Because, as you all know, in the 2015 NBA Finals, Kevin Love was gone in the first round. Then Kyrie ended up getting injured in game 1 of the NBA Finals. And, man, that's a shame because he was balling. On one good leg, he was giving Steph that work. On one good leg. And in my opinion, if Kyrie would have stayed and won. And who knows, they probably do win the series. Eat this cornbread. But heading into game 5, I was nervous because, I didn't want this to be another year down the drain or another year being so close but so far. And, being at home, being on the road in game 5 against in a hostile environment, that's what it could look like it was going to be. And I definitely didn't want that. I definitely wanted a game 6 back in Cleveland. Because I knew if the Cavs would have won game 5, that would have messed up the Warriors' head. Because here they are, up 3-1 at home, closing in on another championship. And they end up losing the game. Now they have to go back on the road trying to win another, trying to close it out. So the Warriors' head was definitely messed up from losing that game 5 at home. And in my opinion, I thought if the Cavs could win game 6, the Warriors' heads would be messed up a lot more. Because, almost a week ago, you were leading 3-1, about to win another championship. Now, here it is almost a week later. You have to go back home to play for a game 7 instead of getting ready for, a championship parade. That definitely messed with the Warriors' head after game 6.
Excuse me for a second.
My bag again, y'all. So yeah, after losing Game 6, the Warriors' heads were definitely messed up, and Klay Thompson, he tried to be all confident, super confident that saying that he would take them going home with a chance to win the championship in Game 7 any day of the week. Man, anybody could see that. Losing 2 games in a row where you were leading 3-1, that definitely messes with a team's head. LeBron going for that Game 5 was what Klay said in the press conference before Game 5 when he said, when a reporter was talking to him about LeBron, having his exchange with Draymond, saying, I guess he just got his feelings hurt. That definitely not only ticked off LeBron, but that really motivated him to want to come out, strong in Game 5 and try to Game 5. Klay was basically premature celebrating. And where I come from, you don't celebrate until it's over. You still got to play the game. And he definitely thought it was over. And I think and of course the Warriors definitely thought it was over. Even without Draymond, they still thought that they could win that game without Draymond. But they found out the hard way that they couldn't, because a lot of those guys couldn't find a way to play above their level for one game, for one night. Plus, Draymond was basically their safety on the floor, telling them where they need to be on offense, telling which man to switch on to on defense. They definitely missed that with Draymond in that Game 5. because they had no sense of direction on both sides of the ball whatsoever, especially on defense. You know, of course they were going to give LeBron the jumper and the three-pointer because in the first 3 games he hadn't hit it consistently. But I think one messed up on was he didn't start having his guys guard LeBron more on the perimeter or at the top of the key after he started hitting those first few jumpers. That's where Kerr messed up. Okay, I'm seeing y'all coming into. You know, did you think the suspension for Draymond was right? Do you think it was wrong? Do you think it was karma? Plus, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Don't make it your last. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click the notification bell and click all so you don't miss any new videos or upcoming live streams from me. Because I'm going to be live streaming for the next 3 days. Tomorrow night with Game 6, Saturday night Game 7. Then, starting Sunday night for the next few weeks, I will be live streaming after every broadcast of The Last Dance, you know, with a recap and giving my take on, that week's episodes, and also my take on the 90s Bulls. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have a special guest to kick off the first one Sunday night. So y'all stay tuned for that. It's definitely going to be good. But now back to this Game 5. You know, Clay had it going in the first half, but Steph really didn't have it going in the first half. You know, Steph missed a lot of shots. Also, he had some turnovers, big turnovers. That ultimately cost the Warriors. Also, the Warriors bench, who have been pretty good the first 3 games. This was the first game. Well, no, I take that back. They were great the first 2 games. I mean, the bench didn't play good. I mean, the bench was solid in Game 3, but it did not play up to the level that they did those first 2 games in Golden State. But the bench for the Warriors in this game definitely wasn't good at all. It's like they disappeared. You know, even though the Cavs bench wasn't better, but at least, you know, they still were at least hustling, trying to play defense, especially Richard Jefferson. When he came off the bench, he definitely was doing a good job on Harrison Barnes. Definitely did a great job on Harrison Barnes. Also, excuse me, like I said before, Kyrie just took over that second half in the mid-third quarter and in the fourth quarter. You know, he was just getting bucket after bucket after bucket, no matter who was guarding him, whether it was Festus Ezeli, Steph, or even Clay. man, he was just, especially that turnaround jumper he hit over Clay. Man, that was a hell of a shot over somebody that tall, athletic, and a real damn good defender. But even though the Cavs were balling in that second half, I still was a little bit nervous because, the Warriors can definitely score in bunches, make a comeback, especially with that three ball. Every time they were shooting up a three, I was hoping, no, I was praying that it didn't go in. I was praying that shot would not fall through the net. But then when Kyrie hit that big three to stretch the lead to 12, I was thinking to myself, we might actually win this game. I definitely thought that we would actually win this game, and ultimately the Cavs did win that game. They won it by the final of 112-97. Like I said, Kyrie and LeBron balled out. They showed they were a hell of a duo, scoring 41 points apiece. Yes, a lot of other Cavaliers, including Kevin Love, didn't do much. Well, Tristan Thompson did a pretty good job of rebounding the ball, and he also hit some, key free throws in the game. Because that was one of his main issues throughout that series was hitting free throws. But he came up big from the free throw line because they were trying to do the hack of Tristan. But Tristan Thompson stepped up and hit some key free throws. But, I was excited for Game 6, but I was nervous because I did not want the Warriors celebrating on the Cavs floor for the second straight year. But I definitely was confident that the Cavs were going to win Game 6 at home because, they only had one home loss, Game 4 to the Warriors, but for the most part, they were real dominant at home that year in the playoffs. So I definitely thought they would pull off Game 6. Excuse me. But, this game left a lot of people stunned. This left the Warriors organization stunned, the players, of course, Steve Kerr and the coaching staff, the fans, Golden State media, and even the national media. Because a lot of them definitely thought that the series was, the Warriors were going to definitely clinch the championship at home and be motivated by, to want to win it without Draymond so he could come in and celebrate with them once it was over. But it didn't pan out that way. The Cavs, they were the more hungrier team. They were the more focused team. And let's be real, they were the more desperate team. Their backs were up against the wall, down 3-1. If they lose that game, it's over. And Warriors are back-to-back champions. And, celebrating the greatest season ever. And matter of fact, if they would have won that, that championship in 2016, most people would be saying that they were the greatest team, in NBA history. And that's outdoing the 72-10 Bulls from the 95 and 96 season. Well, I got to cut this short, dog, because I got some things to do. But I thank y'all for joining me. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. Don't make it your last. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click the notification bell. Click all so you don't miss any new videos from me. Plus, make sure you back here tomorrow night and Saturday night for Game 6 and Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals, as I will be giving my commentary on those games. Also, starting Sunday night and each Sunday for the next few weeks, I will be doing live streams, giving my recap of the Chicago Bulls documentary, The Last Dance, giving my take on each episode. Also, my take on the 90s Bulls. For the first live stream Sunday night, I'm going to have a special guest. You know, I'm not going to tell you who it is. You definitely going to find, you guys stay tuned Sunday to find out who the special guest is. But I'm just going to say one thing. He's a popular YouTuber. So we're definitely going to get, talk about the document, well, the first two parts of the documentary and the 90s Bulls. So y'all definitely make sure you tune in for that Sunday night. It's going to start a little bit after 11. But once again, I got to get out of here, y'all. Thanks for joining me here tonight. I hope you and your family stay healthy, stay safe. Till tomorrow night, y'all have a good one. Love y'all to life. QC out.